If the Russian Federation starts to fall apart, who could potentially lead Chechnya? And will it actually become truly free in that case?
To begin with, I do not believe that the modern world is particularly interested in Russia breaking up, even if we assume a total economic collapse, say something like what happened in Iran, right?
Yes.
The currency basically lost any functional value at all. It simply stopped being worth anything, right? Even if we assume that the ruble will be entirely devoid of value and there will be nothing to eat, there will be protests and this and that. I am somehow deeply convinced that the very first country to help the Russian Federation to prevent it from falling apart will be the United States. That's what I don't believe. Collapse. Well, if we hypothetically assume that Russian Federation, that's all, this haunting swan song appeared. It appeared clearly on all of the television screens across the nation. Well, we are seeing a repeat of the collapse of the Soviet Union. Then we must look at today's Chechnya. Chechnya, 100% subsidized region. If money from the federal budget is not sent within 1 month, Chechnya will simply starve. Because there is nothing for self-sufficiency. Chechnya produces nothing today. This is despite the fact that we have oil resources, our mountains are very rich, our region is very fertile. It is possible twice a year. So everything is growing, absolutely. And with all this, it was all completely destroyed. This situation simply does not exist at all. And without any form of external support from any country, and without financial and economic support from any countries, the Chechen Republic would not even be able to successfully declare its independence, because you need something to live on. There is nothing in this.
But the giving hand is already running dry. How does this affect Chechnya?
It was absolutely catastrophic without any shadow of a doubt. But again, until when back in 1996, it happened that at first there were joint checkpoints. I'll digress a little bit from the main topic now to make it much clearer. And then, in just 1 single hour, within a week, the Russian army completely withdrew from the territory of Chechnya. And we, being just kids, would walk around. We were curious about what each checkpoint or commandant's office was made of. And every time, only in hindsight, you wonder who was holding them. Right where he stood, that's where he did his business, that's where he ate. Right here, for example, one of the military checkpoints that was located not far from our village, we set it on fire and burned it down because the whole checkpoint was completely infested with lice. And this present army that is there today, that is exactly how it is going to stand. Until they're no longer there, either they'll be taken into custody as prisoners or completely destroyed. There's absolutely no reverse process or turning back for this. There's no such process where they're told, that's it, your command has been officially severed and cut off. We're giving you a corridor, leave. They won't do that because they have no remaining place to which they can safely return. They were supposedly given such a formal order. They will believe that the land where their command post stands is their ancestral land. That's why, when this happens, we'll have to, just like in 1996, block them off and somehow negotiate with them so that they either leave or, if not, end up in the ground. One of the two. But as soon as the Chechen Republic is cut off from central command, even from the federal center, for example, we won't have to go from here to the border and hammer it into every Chechen that we must once again take our fate into our own hands. There are people on the ground who are waiting for this. Every Chechen who travels home from Europe says, one day this day will come, and God willing, I hope I am at home when it happens. That's what everyone says. Everyone says it. Even the most loyal ones say it. And you are surprised, amazed. He brings everything from here, builds houses there, but nevertheless he understands that there is nothing there. There is no healthcare, no education. Chechen youth, completely degraded, receive no education at all. Yes, universities are functioning, institutes are functioning, everything is operating, but no one is actually getting an education. It simply doesn't exist. But the gyms are packed to capacity. Everyone is training hard in the hope that out of 100 athletes, one individual will receive an indulgence from Ramzan Kadyrov and get lucky. There, I don't know, they'll build him a house, buy him a car, and put him on some kind of allowance. When I discovered the staggering reality about the line of judo coaches, freestyle wrestling coaches, and I think boxing coaches too, the incredible length of the queue for the position of personal trainer to Ramzan Kadyrov's son, I was simply left speechless. It was truly horrifying, and I was deeply shocked by it all. How much do you truly have to abandon your honor and dignity? How much do you have to pressure and drive a promising athlete to make him dream of achieving that position?
How many more Kadyrov families do you think are left?
How many relatives? Well, how many?
Do they have left, time-wise?
Time?
Yes, Shiverty in Ukrainian. I can't find an equivalent in Russian.
I think they'll have time until the end of this year. For some reason, I truly feel like this year will finally see the end of the Russian-Ukrainian war. I think there will be some kind of breakthrough. And after this breakthrough, Chechnya will begin to rid itself of Kadyrov. I'm not saying that this will be a good thing for the Chechen people, but the Chechen people will get rid of this Igor squared. We call Kadyrov an imbecile. He really has a psychological disorder, a mental disorder, oligophrenia. But when we look at his sons, we see that the oligophrenia is squared there. I mean, sometimes, you grow up to surpass your parents, but here it's degradation, complete hidden degradation. I really don't understand. I sincerely don't understand how having so much money and so many opportunities, you don't even have to go to Oxford. It's not necessary.
Although you could have, in principle.
Yeah, you could have. MSU is enough. You really will receive a truly great education. You really will make your brain work much harder than ever before. What struck me the most, I followed a woman's page on Instagram. She's a director of a school for the deaf-mute. There's such a school in Grozny, if I'm not mistaken, a school for the deaf-mute. I want to express my gratitude to this woman. She is actually doing tremendous work. She does a really great job. And so when she shows her office, she's really proud that she has the complete collection of Lenin's writings. The complete collection. And this is clear, undeniable proof that the Chechen people today are absolutely and systematically deprived of a proper education. It is quite enough to simply pull out any volume from the shelf. You will see there is uprising, revolution, and so on. If Lenin's collected works feel comfortable in today's repressive Chechnya, then the Russian Federation has achieved a 100% victory.
Yes, but there is still hope.
There is hope in the Chechens who are living abroad. This applies to the field of academic education, to organizational leadership, to future career prospects, to modern medicine, and to education in various other areas as well. As for those Chechen people who live in Chechnya, unfortunately, there is no hope for them. Because before they can truly begin to live their lives, they first need to undergo a very long course of treatment, psychological treatment. And it all depends on how deep their trauma is. It might take a year or it might take decades.